The Assassin's Creed series have definitely evolved throughout the years. The series really drew players with its amazing stealth gameplay and very well choreographed combat. But starting with AC Origins, the series took a different approach to its gameplay, trying to shake things up and fully embrace the RPG genre. This left some fans feeling a bit skeptical as the newer games didn't really capture the essence of what made the older games great. That's why it came as a pleasant surprise when Ubisoft announced that they were going back to the series' roots with Assassin's Creed Mirage. Join us today at Game8 as we see whether this return to form was the right step into the future of the Assassin's Creed series. This is the video adaptation of our review article of Assassin's Creed Mirage at Game8. The link is in the description below. Assassin's Creed Mirage follows Basim, as he goes from being a street thief to a full-fledged member of the Assassin Brotherhood, with most of the action taking place in Baghdad in the 9th century, also known as the Islamic Golden Age. In the midst of political instability, Basim must serve the Brotherhood and uncover the mysteries of the Order, a secret group that holds power over even the most influential leaders in the city. While all of this is happening, Basim must also find out more about his recurring nightmares and the creature that stalks him from within. A bit of a spoiler from AC Valhalla, but players who have played it will definitely recognize Basim as one of the antagonists from that game. In AC Mirage, we are put in control of him to see from his point of view what led to the events of AC Valhalla. The story itself is your typical Assassin's Creed story. The Hidden Ones, which are the precursors of the modern-day Assassin Brotherhood, set out to eliminate their sworn enemies, the Order, to stop whatever their plans are. And this usually involves taking advantage of the masses. The game does a great job of drawing us into the story with its mysteries and intrigue. The story is divided into multiple branching storylines, with each district of the city having their own problems that Basim must solve. These things usually involve a member of the Order causing trouble for the people in the district. Basim visits the assassin bureaus found across the city of Baghdad for any information on his next target, which is very similar to how the very first AC game plays out. The story also goes for much shorter this time around, at least relatively when compared to the more RPG-focused AC titles, which usually take 100 plus hours to finish. While it might seem like a good chance to focus efforts, the story itself is nothing to write home about. The game introduces a lot of characters throughout the story, but none of them feel too memorable. There were a few moments that made us go, "Alright, you exist in the story," for quite a few of the recurring characters found in the game. It's a good thing the game provides a codex entry about every major and minor person found in the game, or else we'd be lost with all the characters they introduce. Even Basim, as the main character, also doesn't feel like he was fully fleshed out. The game presents him as someone who is haunted by nightmares, but the story never fully dives into these nightmares until the very end of the story. It's a shame that we may never really know much else about Basim, or have him fully fleshed out. After all, the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes place directly after the story. Assassin's Creed Mirage tries to go back to the series' stealth-based gameplay roots. Gone are the RPG systems of the last 3 titles, and in its place is a gameplay loop that feels reminiscent of the older AC games. The game puts more emphasis on stealth and careful planning, since Basim is not a fighter unlike Bayek or Cassandra. You can't just go in a heavily guarded area and expect to fight head-on with all the enemies you come across. Instead, you must carefully plan out each approach and choose which enemies to take out first, all while keeping away from the other guards' line of sight. Doing recon in an area is made easy by your Eagle companion, Enkidu. This feature, which was first introduced in AC Origins, allows you to mark out any enemies found in the areas of Baghdad. This eliminates the need to constantly use Eagle vision all the time, a staple in AC games which allows the character to notice small details. All this makes up for a satisfying gameplay loop that makes you truly feel like an assassin stalking their prey. The game gives you a lot of freedom with how to dispatch your targets. Similar to how it was in Assassin's Creed Unity, you're given multiple ways to best assassinate your mark. Early on in the game, it introduces a sort of coin currency system that every person in Baghdad seems to find valuable. You can use these coins to open up different ways to infiltrate an area. Like, you can choose to pay a merchant to let you play as his assistant and help him carry his wares to the prison. Or how about paying off some sellswords to cause a distraction at the front gates while you slip in the back door as the other guards are distracted. This makes for a great way to incentivize players to seek out these coins, as they can make your missions a lot easier to deal with. The tools you have also play an important role in your infiltration into enemy territory. As you progress through the game, you will unlock more tools that will greatly help your chances of successfully sneaking into enemy camps. These can range from the ever-reliable throwing knives, which can help quickly dispatch guards from afar, to a more non-lethal approach of using blow darts to put enemies to sleep. You can also upgrade each of your tools to make it a lot more efficient and powerful. Some of these upgrades include throwing knives that automatically hide bodies when they're killed using them, and smoke bombs that make enemies forget that they're fighting, which gives you an opportunity to finish them off. There are just so many ways to tailor your tools to fit your infiltration style, so it's best to experiment with them and find out which one works best for you. Another great ability Basim has at his disposal is the ability called Assassin's Focus. While hidden, Assassin's Focus allows players to slow down time and mark enemies for a quick takedown. This lets Basim speed through an area and quickly eliminate all of the enemies he marked. It's a very useful ability as it makes clearing out areas with large amount of enemies an absolute breeze. As an assassin, you must also learn how to quickly leave the scene and make an escape. That's where another staple of the old Assassin's Creed games comes in, the parkour system. Running across the rooftops of Baghdad feels great, and some of the movements feel very fluid. Until it isn't, that is. The game feels like it brought back the old parkour system from previous games, janky movements and all. Now, don't get us wrong, traversing through the busy streets and leaping across buildings in this game is very addicting, but we hope they'd left behind some of the awkward controls and really polished up some of the animations. The combat is another thing that may seem to be a miss for older fans. Like we mentioned earlier, Basim isn't really a fighter and must rely on stealth tactics to get the job done. It's not like he's a nervous poker player, he won't fold that easily. In the case of a fight, Basim at least knows how to defend himself when the need arises. One should be careful when engaging in a fight though, as you can easily get swarmed by a couple of guards, which in turn will make the fight exponentially more difficult. The combat feels like a much simplified version of Assassin's Creed Valhalla's gameplay mixed with the more wait and strike combat of the pre-RPG AC titles. You must time your parries to open up enemies' defenses and finish them off with a quick strike. Unlike the previous games though, these aren't really some cool and stylish looking finish animations in this game. Basim just quickly stabs them then moves on to the next enemy. I mean, I suppose that's more assassin-like. Unlike the more recent RPG Assassin's Creed games, the devs decided to keep the world small and just limit it to the city of Baghdad and its surrounding areas. This, accompanied by a shorter story, makes it easier to focus on the characters and also build up the world better. The focus on a smaller map also makes it so that the map is not littered with pointless side objectives like the previous AC titles. I mean, look at this map! What is even going on with all the random icons? The game instead focuses on smaller and shorter side activities to keep the player engaged and make them explore more of the city of Baghdad. These range from simple tasks such as pickpocketing NPCs to get their valuables, to the more dangerous activities of stealing a chest in a heavily guarded area. Unlike the first Assassin's Creed game, these side activities don't feel too tedious, and hopefully newer Assassin's Creed games will continue to take this approach into consideration. Assassin's Creed Mirage does a great job with capturing the look and ambiance of an ancient Baghdad, which is usually one of the strong points of any Assassin's Creed title. From the sandy dunes of the wilderness to each district of the round city, you can instantly tell how much care and detail was put into making Baghdad as authentic as possible. Just the way each district looks very distinct and has their own personality is quite a sight to behold. You can take a stroll around the market district and see all the merchants trying to sell their wares to a couple of passerbys. Or how about visiting a desert oasis town and taking in the countryside air? There are many places to discover in the world of Assassin's Creed Mirage and many great sights to see. The character designs are great as well. You can easily tell someone is important to the story just by the first glance. The most notable ones being Roshan and Basim. Roshan easily gives off the look of a veteran assassin that has a lot of experience under her belt. Well, in her case, her blade. As for Basim, players also have quite a few ways to customize the way he looks by equipping him with outfits and costumes. Each outfit looks very well designed and fits with the game's time period. Some even works as a disguise which allows you to slip into areas unnoticed. The audio is also great as the ambient music really brings out the feel of living in an ancient city. As you walk the streets, you'll hear NPCs going about their daily lives. You'll hear town criers shouting out upcoming public events, and everyday workers talking to their friends. These background sounds, accompanied with a soundtrack that enhances the ambience, makes us feel we were transported to this period in time and immersing ourselves in the culture. As for the voice acting, we would say that it gets the job done. There weren't really any big standout moments during the story which made us feel anything about the voice acting, negative or positive. One of the few voices that do stand out is the voice of Roshan, who's played by Iranian-American Shohreh Aghdashloo.
Silence is not your ally here.
It is not silence. I cannot explain what I saw.
The devs also mentioned that they're proud of adding an Arabic voice setting in the game, allowing the game to feel a lot more immersive and the setting feel more authentic.
انسي أمر الجني الآن. إنه يوم جديد ولدينا عمل لننجزه. ترك درويش عقدا آخر.
لمن؟
Assassin's Creed Mirage is a great game for older and newer fans of the AC titles to get into. The mix of older stealth-based gameplay mixed with the modernness of newer titles feels like a step in the right direction of catering to all kinds of Assassin's Creed fans. We here at Game8 are giving Assassin's Creed Mirage an 8.6 out of 10. While the game seems like it could have improved in some areas like the fluidity of the parkour movement and the combat, it is still a great addition to this long-running series. And it's definitely enjoyable for fans of the series, old and new. What do you guys think of AC Mirage? Is this the right direction for the AC series, or is it a one-and-done type of game? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Also, be sure to check out the written version of this review linked in the description below.